Hi there, welcome back. We're on an altar cap now, fresh out of the box. So, I skipped a wee bit here at the beginning. All you missed was me naming the character and a tutorial battle that I didn't want you to have to suffer through twice in case you start playing as well, because it's a bit of a slow fight because you're stuck in slow combat mode. But right now we're still in the tutorial, really. Skip the story so you can enjoy that at your leisure. Also, if I watched every story cutscene with you, a 2-hour stream would be like 3 fights and cutscenes. Well, depending on which chapter we were in. So it's I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of how they did this particular fight here with the empty cards, because just starting out, if you're fresh in the game like I was starting out, that may confuse you greatly to where you think, oh no, if I only have one person and they've used up like 3 of the cards, now I only have 2 attacks. But that's not how it works. You're never going to have an empty slot. So I don't know why they added this in this particular fight. So meet your first servant, Mash. She is a shielder, the only one of her kind in the game at this point. If there will be a future one, who knows, but just have to wait and see. It's teaching you about skills. So, this target, so her first skill is an AoE, it affects the entire team, so you just press it and it goes off. But the second skill that I just used is targeted, so you pick the target. Oh, bugger. See, now we changed the battle speed. Now the battle will look like it's supposed to. There we go. Isn't that better? So, since we skipped the tutorial a bit, I'll explain the combat mechanics, or attempt to. Skip the cutscene. Now we get a Saint Quartz, some bones. Get used to seeing those evil bones, because one of the unfortunate realities about this game is bronze mats are hell, and you will never get out of bronze mat hell. I don't care how long you've been playing. So get used to this little setup where there's a cutscene before the fight, cutscene after the fight. Because that's basically how the game's set up in this story for first few singularities. So Mash is a shielder, which, as you would think, as one would expect, means she's a very defensive type unit. She basically takes and does neutral damage against pretty much everyone in the game, with a few exceptions. So she's never going to be an offensive powerhouse, at least in this form, but she's got really solid team survival. This juices up all of your teammates' defense for 3 turns. This might not seem like much, but it's very handy. And it gets an upgrade. She gets quite a few upgrades as you play through the story, which is really lovely. This implies invincible for 1 turn and charges their MP gauge. This is very important. For one, invincibility is really lovely, but your MP battery, that's something that's kind of hard to come by when it comes to 1 to 3 star units, which is what you will have for the most part starting out, unless you drop the wallet a wee bit for some early rolls, or get lucky in because starting out they will give you a bunch of saint coins just to get you started, so if you get lucky enough you can get some good units early on. So very good ability. It's highly recommended when you can to upgrade the ranks on these skills as soon as you can. Definitely do not neglect Marsh. She should definitely be one of the units you prioritize leveling. Sorry, there goes with the empty nonsense again, but this is what it's. So this is attempting to teach you about how chains work. So basically, depending on the card type that leads off, it will provide an effect to every other card in the chain. So I'll go over the okay, there we go. So card types. Here is Mash's card deck. She's got 1 quick, 2 arts, 2 buster. So buster is your big heavy hitter attack. That's your heavy attack, which it does the most damage, but it doesn't have any bonus effect to it, just a whole lot of damage. Arts is medium damage, but has the highest, gives you a lot of MP gain with the attack. And then quick has the lowest amount of damage, has some alright MP gain, not nearly as much as Arts does, but what quick mostly does is generate quick crit stars. So crit stars are these little buggers right here. So you can see that I have 1, and it's on this card. That means that card has a 10% chance to crit, except in these tutorial fights where it's bugged and it crits guaranteed for some reason. There's some point in these tutorials where that stops being the case, but I don't know if this fight is it or not. So with that in mind, as I told you just a moment ago, the card you select in the lead off of your little chain, your attack chain, because you select 3 cards per turn to attack with. So if you pick Buster first, it provides a Buster buff to all of your cards, which increases their damage. Arts will increase MP gain, and then Quick increases crit star generation. If you do a Brave chain, which is using 3 of the same unit's cards, like this, you will get a 4th attack called an extra attack, which is not affected by whatever the lead-off card was, but will generally do a decent chunk of damage. So that's called a brave chain when you get 3 cards from the same unit in one turn. Now, with a brave chain that has 3 cards from the same unit that are also the same color, that would be called whatever that card type is, brave chain. So if you have 3 reds, which is very doable for a lot of berserker units and the like, you can do a Buster Brave Chain, which provides an extra bonus based off card type. So, like Buster, it provides you an attack buff and then a further attack buff. For Hearts, it provides... It will instantly charge everyone involved in the chain's MP gates by 20%, and then you also get a bonus to MP gain. Quick will automatically generate 10 quick stars, and then of course give every attack a buffed star gen buff. So of course this actually works even if, say I had 2 other servants and they both had arts cards. So if I pick her arts card, then servant 2's arts card, and servant 3's arts card, all 3 servants would get 20% charge. Same with Buster. If they all picked a Buster, they would all get the extra attack up. Quick would still generate the 10 crit stars. So, crit stars. Each star, which at the beginning of a turn will be semi-randomly distributed to all of your cards. Each crit star will provides a 10% chance of crit. So, considering you have 5, so that means if a card gets 10 of them, it's guaranteed to crit. It's a 100% crit chance. And considering you have 5 cards in your hand per turn, that means if you can ever get 50 crit stars, which sounds like a lot, and it is a decent chunk, but I think you'd be pretty surprised how many you can consistently generate with certain team setups. Every card will guarantee crit if you can get to 50. Now here, pretty sure it's time. Yes, it's time to do our starter summon rolls. This is a unique summon where you're guaranteed to get at least one of the 4-star units from this starter summon pool. And so you're guaranteed a 4-star servant and a 4-star craft essence. And if you're lucky, you can even get more than one of each. But we'll see how it works. And the reason I waited until now to start this alt account is because during this anniversary we got a Start Dash campaign, which altered what we can get. It greatly improved what you get for starting out, basically. So it's better to wait till now to get all the bonus Saint Courts and the better starter rolls and the like. So let's see what we get. There are actually a great deal of really handy units that you can get from here. So that card, that craft essence, I think it gives you a 3-turn arts up. Well, there's a really nice Buster up card. It's just pure damage, pure attack. It's pretty solid if you've got nothing else for a busted unit. Kia Ime, oh dear. So maybe she's in such bad shape considering how popular a character she is. So, a couple 3-star units to really are seriously. That's a shame. Okay, here's that 4-star. Berserker, Tomcat. She was my starter role on my main account too. In fact, she keeps popping up on pretty much all the alts that I've started. That's actually pretty funny. I have completely forgotten what that even does. So far our starter roles are leaving a lot to be desired. We really wanted some more good 3-star servants. Okay, there's David. There we go. So David is arguably the best 3-star servant that's not named Ku. He is extremely useful. Tremendously so. Or? Another year. Another Berserker. Well, there we go. Okay. He's probably objectively the single best unit to get from the starting row. From the 4-star pool at least. Oh, Heracles is he's a good one. And despite some Tizumi comments on the internet claiming otherwise, he's still quite broken even in current day storylines and the like. He's insane. And they recently buffed him. So that's fun. He also has a way with words, as you can see. So can't really say disappointed in that because we got Heracles and Tomacat. I like Tomacat. She's a cinnamon roll. And David is a very good unit. I'll go over why and when it lets me. Oh, so he was the tutorial, so she was extra, it seems. Because generally this wants you to put in the one that's supposed to be your base tutorial summon. It's kind of funny the GSSR and this starter summon both pulled this on me, where I got 2 instead of the guaranteed 1. Wait a minute, do I have... Okay. So here's the support page, whereas one might expect from the name, you can pick a support unit from a mate or random other people. Doesn't particularly matter which we pick here, this is an easy enough little fight. So we'll just grab Chloe. Now, if they're not on your friends list, if you notice how her MP was blacked out, you cannot use a support servant's noble phantasm unless they're on your friends list or you're following them or whatever. It can be a bit rough starting out, I suppose, but because MPs are really useful. Skip the story. Can't believe we got Heracles. So you can see he's got a classic Buster deck of triple Buster. He's an absolute monster. And it's a real shame because she's got a 50% MP charge, but it's worthless because she can't use her MP. Mash actually can't for right now either, but don't worry, that gets solved very early on in the story. So Berserkers are actually really handy to start out with, just because they're really helpful. A good Berserker is really helpful for new accounts, just because the only things that resist them are like rulers and foreigners, neither of which you will encounter very often. They are, however, very squishy because they take a lot of damage from everything. They do a lot of damage to things and take a lot of damage from things, so do keep that in mind. So, why Heracles is so good is something you will learn. So for one, he just has an insane amount of attack, but unlike other Berserkers who are really prone to dying quickly, he is a tanky boy because he gets, well, he gets a gut skill and he gets an evade, both of which are very nice. But the biggest part about him is his Bondcraft essence. I'll go over Bond after this if it lets me do the menus I want. So, I guess we're still on the insta-crit stage. So after this it'll probably make me level him. Okay, so Follow is a handy little thing that they've added to the game fairly recently in Global, where you don't have to send someone a friend request and you can get access to their servant pool and MP without having to rely on them to actually accept your friend request. But you can only use follower stuff in story fights. Let's see what the support setup looks like, and maybe I'll even do that. We have Marilyn, that's good. Bride's really nice to have access to. Love Renee's. Alright, Tamamar. Got Jalta. I think we might actually follow this person, because they have a lot of good support. Of course, if you were looking at it, so unless, how to go about wording this properly. If you're one of the gameplay first type people, and you generally, you're not super, or I have to have this certain character. I love Bradamante, I have to have her. So you want to like save everything until she's rated up or whatever. Actually, I don't know when she gets rated up again, come to think of it. I don't think she gets one, but she's non-limited. She can spook you anytime, so that's fine. If you generally like most characters, I'm like that, frankly. I like most of the characters, frankly. I do have my favorites that I mentioned earlier, Mordred, Nobu and Orkida and the like. Ereshkigal, but one of the best bang for your buck, so to speak, is to try to roll for one of the big supports. Because if you have, say, your own Merlin, that means whatever opponent you're facing, generally, you can just go to your friends list and grab a big buster damage dealer, like say Jalta or something. And then your Merlin will juice them up. So you have a lot of flexibility there, where you have the support ready to go, and you can rely on your whale friends' OP damage dealers to carry you through if you need some help. So, if you have that in mind, speaking of Merlin, he gets a rate up. Not this next summer, is it? It's either this next summer event or the one after. So, something to keep in mind if you're starting out. And then, so he's for Buster. And then Tomomo's the current one for Arts. Now, Tomomo is unlimited. She can spook you, which is what happened to me, thankfully. So, that's good. She's for Arts. And then Scotty is for Quick. And she gets a rate up, should be in around November. Some DL download campaign. So, you have some time to save for her if you started playing right now. Of course, again, that's if you wanted to try to grab one of the big supports and then rely on your friends for DPS until you can get your feet under you. That being said, we'll go ahead and follow this one. So, that being said, with the exception of Quick, unfortunately, there are really lovely free-to-play supports for Arts. Arts especially. Arts kind of has really good free supports. This is teaching you how to upgrade your servant, so you use these embers to increase their experience points. So, you can actually get lucky and sort of crit when you give them experience. There's, let's see here. Oh dear. It's like great success and super success. So one of them doubles the amount of experience you got, and the other triples it. I think it's great in super. And I think super's the triple. I don't know. The thing is, it's kind of the opposite in the global version. The way they have them labeled is kind of the opposite of the way they have it in the JP version, from what I remember at least. So that's a bit of a thing. Okay, it's not letting me do bloody menus. Alright, there we go. See, this is what we wanted to start with. This is the big start dash campaign, so we get a bunch of nice stuff here. And here's our regular login bonus. Now we have Spatial Ascension, which... Oh. So, the Spatial Ascension is actually really handy. Of course, it's only available right now for 30 days, or for 90 days, sorry, from today. So, unfortunately, if you wait too long to start playing, you might miss it. So you have from like here to October. So what this does is, it takes a unit to their final ascension, so they will be 10 levels off their max, and be fully ascended all for free. Which is really handy because, quite frankly, it is kind of rough raising units to start with. Just because it costs a lot of QP, it costs a lot of embers, and the big thing is Ascension materials. they Ascension materials can be a bit of a thing to get in good numbers, especially starting out, because drop rates are very sad. And then the specific class-based Ascension mats also are very sad with drop rates and the like. So this is a really good thing to take advantage of. Now the best bang for your buck would be using it on a 5-star unit, because that's 80 free levels as opposed to 70. But in this case, juicing up Heracles would probably be the thing to do, which is why it's a bit sad they made me waste one of the embers on him. Okay, so Bond. Okay, Spirit Origin list. Alright, we got some... Wow, Berserkers really liked me there, apparently. Okay, so this is your Bond level. So as you can see, we need 2450 points to get into Bond level 1. So the first 5 Bond levels are generally fairly easy to get. You'll get them fairly quickly as long as you keep the unit in your party when you fight. But starting from Bond level 6 and on to 10, you start getting rewards for hitting each level. So for gold units, you get a certain amount of Saint Quartz for level 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then for every unit, when you get to level 10, which takes some doing, you get the unit's unique Bond craft essence. And most of them are garbage, because they don't have any stats to them. But Heracles is insanely good. Just amazing craft essence, because it gives him 3 stacks of guts that can't be removed without actually proccing them. And just makes him an insanely survivable tanky boy. Of course, it takes some doing to get his Bond level all the way up to 10. So that's why, if you get him, I highly recommend making bloody certain that you keep him in your party at all times, so he can accrue. He gets Bond points from every fight, if at all possible. Mash is special in that her Bond doesn't actually level from fights and the like. It levels by story progression, and there aren't any rewards or anything from it, so that's a bit of a thing. Craft essences, I don't think this one's any good. Critical strength. This one's fine if you have nothing else to slap on a Buster heavy unit like any of the 3 Berserkers we got. This one that's on a quicker arts team, I suppose it's we really didn't clean up very well craft essence wise. Let's see, is there anything else I can go over really quickly? Alright, the shop. So the shop is important because as you get mana prisms, you can buy really handy things. Summon tickets. Each ticket counts as 3 Saint Quartz. So each ticket is a roll. Gives you some really nice experience. Fours will permanently increase your unit stats. So with these 3-star fours, you can juice up a servant's attack and health by 1,000. And then after they reach that, they can then unlock the ability to go to plus 2,000. So you can increase it by a further 1,000 each if you want to, using gold fours, which are 4-star fours. However, those you get like a handful of each, one for each for attack and HP per event. So it takes, I think the month is roughly 8 months if you do every event and get every 4 from it, to be able to max one unit out to 2,000. So keep that in mind. Make sure to prioritize units that you really like. Now, did we get any friend points from our, well, first off, we're obviously not going to do GSSR on here. Make sure to do, especially starting out, do your free 10 roll for friend points. You get 1 free friend point 10 roll per day. Okay, there's Kurzdom. Oh, that's... we didn't do very well there. That's a shame. Alright, we didn't get any FP. Okay. Here's your friends list. Well, friends and following. Now, starting out you can only have 20, of course, but that number shoots up as your account levels, or your master levels. So we're level 1 out of 150. So that's not what I wanted to go to. This is. Now, alright, let's see. Okay, this is, I'm going to go ahead and friend my main account on this alt account, so I can have access to some stuff. Here's how my current support list looks on that. As you can see, I got spooked by Toria. When did I get spooked by her? Oh, it was my first rolls. I was rolling for Summer Mordred. That was the first time I actually legitimately rolled in the game. Looking back, I wish I would have kept going to try to get her MP5, but maybe she'll pop up on a banner eventually. And it's funny, I hadn't gotten a single copy of it, and I got 3 copies of the 5-star unit that was up, which was Tama Sharko, Summer Tamamor, Tama Lancer, whatever you want to call her. Tamamor Lancer. So I got 3 copies of her, including a copy back to back from 2 tickets. And then here comes Artoria. And then all of a sudden 3 Mordreds just spat out right in a row. It's like she was offended. This is pretty amusing. Good times, good times. Okay, friend request. So now, I wonder. I'm going to see if I can log in on my main account and accept this right quick. So I can actually make use of the units if I want. It's about time for the day to roll over, so we'll go ahead and get our second login. That's one of the secrets if you're starting a new account. If you start it before the daily login rollover, you can kind of choose and get two daily logins, or day 1 and 2 back to back, instead of having to wait. Let's see. What's that? Alright. Alright, and as you can see, there's my friend card. This your user ID number. If anyone wanted to add this alt for some reason. And I think you saw me copy paste my main account, so you got that one too, if you were clever and paid attention. So, mana prisms. How do you get the buggers? Well, you burn silver and higher craft essences and servants is one way to get them. Craft essences, fires, embers, and servants. And command cards, which we haven't went over yet because we haven't gotten any. You get those from, well, you get the good ones from doing events, but you can. There are some that are in friend point summons as well, but they're bloody rare. Or they're rare for me, at least, for some reason. They're stubborn about dropping. Alright. Right. Let's go ahead and do this. So, on my main account, I'm grabbing these little buggers because I'm planning on rolling for Astartes and she needs them. And as you saw in my friends list, I've already maxed out the skills of Aresh and Renez, both of which needed over 200 of the bloody things each. And she needs more, nowhere near the amount either of those needed, but she still needs a chunk more. So I'm pretty hurting when it comes to stakes. This star is definitely what I recommend grabbing if you're starting out. Oh, there was that. I'm a dummy. And they even gave us some blazes of wisdom. So now we can go. We lack like 2 minutes until the day starts over. But we'll see if we can't get anything nice from these friend point summons. Okay, Astarios, or a Minotaur. He is an interesting berserker in the way his MP works. It doesn't do damage on its own. It's a big debuff on all the enemies. Decreases their attack and their defense. So that can be pretty handy. Yeah. Pretty sure this daily rollover should happen at any moment now. So I'm hesitant. If you'll notice, we just went through these, and there are these ones above them. Those are free quests. Definitely recommend doing those, especially if you're on a period right now where the AP cost is so bloody low, because they give you more Saint Quartz to roll with. And we just got new free quests for completing a set amount of free quests. it's like as I said, as long as you actually play the game, they will give you a great deal of saint codes for just playing. So you will have plenty of rolls. Even doing your daily logins will get you quite a bit. Because each week you get a handful of saint codes and a couple summon tickets. Plus you've got this. There's another 3 a week just doing these weekly quests, which are typically pretty easy. Yeah, that's what I thought. So this should have been the rollover for the daily login. Connecting. Hopefully it doesn't bug out on us. If it does, we'll have to close the app and get back in. So if the retry doesn't work, we'll do just that. Now, starting at... Okay. So starting at, it's definitely not a bad idea to do some Saint Quartz rolls just to get some 3-star units, if nothing else, going, because there are some really good ones. Huh. It's being very stubborn about working for some reason. It is anniversary though, so I imagine a lot of people are logging in and the like, so maybe that's the issue. It's a bit frustrating. I'll try it once or twice more. If not, I guess we'll have to call it a short stream. That's unfortunate. I wouldn't want to do it. Spit out a third one, a little bit, but might be what we have to do if we can't get it to work. Maybe I should try this. Okay, one more retry, and then we'll cry, I guess. pretty disappointing if it ends up not working. Well, alright. Guess we'll give it another try in a bit, see if it works. It's a shame, but there'll be a lot of people logging on for anniversary. So might play a little bit of Apex here in a bit. Then we'll try to do so what I was getting at before this started happening was it can be good to, before you start, so I definitely recommend being, responsible and saving your SQ if they're to get the units you really, really want. But starting out, it can be helpful to spend some of this that they throw at you for just starting out to get a head start on some nice 3-star units and craft essences to start with. Oh, craft essences. I didn't get a chance to explain those before it cut out. Those are basically like equipment, I guess you could call it, that you slap on a servant to give them some stats and a passive effect that differs depending on what the craft essence is. Well, guess I'll see you in Apex in a moment. So, till then, see you in a few. Then we'll try this. We'll try to do some. I guess we'll roll on the Da Vinci Lily banner. An alternate is to clear this first singularity, if you like, Saber Altar, because she will get added to the story banner afterwards. And if you are going to roll story banner, and again, if you like Saber Altar, the best time to roll for is after clearing Fuyuki, which is this first area. Because after that, every story chapter you complete will just add more units into the story gacha. So it will just increase the pool. So if you want your best shot at her, it'd be right after clearing Fuyuki. Not, be really nice if it started working all of a sudden. But it does not appear to be the case. Yep. Alrighty, so we're going to move over to Apex, I guess. So see you in a moment.